So hi guys, back with another Impact and Influence series. Today we've got Dave Gray with us. Really excited for everyone to get to meet Dave. How are you, Dave?
Really well, Kylie. Thanks for having me.
And for anyone that's been under a rock that hasn't heard Dave Gray's name, Dave, whereabouts are you located?
We're based mainly in Port Macquarie, but we've now got 11 offices from Laurelton all the way up to Evans Head now.
Sorry, how many offices did you say?
11.
Yeah, wow. So you sleep all right?
We're going good. We've built up a pretty good leadership team now, so they're taking up heaps of pressure. So it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. So guys, a few of you might have heard Dave 3 or 4 months ago. He did an interview with Lee, which is awesome. If you haven't listened to it, take some time to have a listen. We're going to come from a bit of a different angle today. Dave shared his amazing journey with where he's got to today. What I want to touch on, Dave, if it's okay, nothing pre-organised, hit you between the eyes, is your leadership journey. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So Dave, so people can sort of compare apples with apples, can you give us a bit of an overview of kind of the numbers in your team? Like how many staff members have you got?
Yeah, so about 110 now. So there's 11 offices all up, about 110. We're just about to acquire Southwest Rocks, so that'll make it 12. And then we'll be close to 4,500 managements. And our goal is 700 sales this year.
Yeah, wow. So obviously we've been working together a little bit in the last 12 months, and I've just seen the business grow from strength to strength. And that has been, from me looking in, I think a lot to do with your leadership style and how that's changed and pivoted and the investments that you've made. What has changed for you fundamentally in the last couple of years with respect to your leadership?
Yeah, look, I had some amazing mentors, but I suppose it was like the school of hard knocks, it was the old school leadership style. And then when I started back in real estate, then I had a bit of a property developer head on, which was probably not the right style. I've always been pretty relaxed and fair with the team, but probably a lot of work around communication. So I've done a heap of coaching, a heap of training, to really try and be able to transfer leadership to my other members of my team.
And Dave, something I've noticed that you've invested a lot in is your team. You sort of finished on that point a moment ago, but the training that you guys do is absolutely extraordinary. What's had impact for you, and where have you noticed the change in the leadership team, and what's driven that?
Yeah, I think you've got to believe in your team. So we had a really inexperienced team, and even letting the team know that I wasn't expecting, I know it sounds terrible, but not high expectations because I just started. Like, how can I have a great general manager if she's only been doing it a month? And allowing the team to sort of understand that journey. Because I think when you have a management team, the team are really quite judgmental on your management team. And if they're new, of course, they're going to make mistakes or not grow. So as we put a new team in, then we've done a heap of work with yourself and a bunch of other trainers to actually grow that team. And as we've seen that growth of the team and develop, then the team members have grown with that. But we've also lost some team members along the way, and that really upset me at first. But I really now understand that, you need to be on the bus, and I didn't quite get what that was. And also around that you can have good people, but if they're not right for culture. So when that changed over, we had about 7 staff leave at once, which was like traumatic on the business and even myself personally. But now to get that, and even like just what I said to you just a minute ago before we jumped on, was like, sometimes business can get a little bit boring in a way because that drama's not in there because we're just all there doing the do now. I mean, obviously we have problems, I'm not saying that, but we're doing the do.
Yeah, don't say boring because then something will happen.
I've been touching the wood.
Dave, you run 1,000,000 miles an hour and everyone just loves your energy and your team. For you in the last probably 18 months, how have you been able to bounce back from some people leaving your organisation and getting your headspace right after that and moving forward?
I did a heap of work with Jeff Jowett, and a lot of that was around, what got you here won't get you there, and then understanding that. And then, working with yourself and even going on those leadership retreats and even taking Haley to that. So, and I think just understanding that people won't be around forever. And like, I had hopes and dreams as well. We've just had one of our girls with me for 4 years, and she's just about to quit to go and do another type of business and out of the industry. And I'm so excited for her. And at first people get a little bit off put how excited I am. And it's like, with real estate, it's not for you. Like, I love this. Like, I love every part of it. But if it's not for you, then I totally get it. That doesn't mean that our personal relationship has to change. There's just journeys going in different directions. So I think just understanding that everyone has a different a career path, a career cycle, and a journey, and then understand that, like, when people get boyfriends or girlfriends or married or babies, that also changes their career path as well, or their energy towards their career. So a lot of, I say love and empathy for our team, love and empathy. And I think one of the biggest things is we take full lead, like in our leadership team. Like if Haley says, oh, well, something went wrong here. Well, it's not like, how did they do it wrong? It's like, well, we didn't train them enough. We haven't spoken to them. We haven't coached them. We haven't mentored them. When was their last one-on-one? Like, we just take full responsibility that if anything's wrong in the business, then it's the leadership's fault.
Yeah, and I think that's something I've really noticed. You've really been, the whole leadership team has just really stepped up and you're owning things. For you, what has been the most two impactful things that your business or you as the leader of the pack have introduced into the business in the last 6 months, particularly with the current climate, to keep everyone's energy high and make sure you're the best leaders you can be? Two things. They're good questions. I think a lot of the work, Kylie, you've been doing with Haley and bringing her as a general manager, I've seen a lot of businesses and they become the idea of the founder, and it's very driven by them. I'm only one person. If you've got 110 people, you're not going to be able to connect with 110 people the same way different other managers work. So to know that I have to actually bring out their personalities and their leadership style, and the work that you've been doing with the leadership around that. And then secondary to that, I mean, I think, when I'm 45 now and you go through different journeys in life, and then doing a lot of work with Jackie Fury, me personally, and actually having more understanding around, the things that work well for me and not, and then getting some more understanding around my personality. So I'd say the two things, really transferring leadership, and then me personally working a lot of my own stuff. So Dave, you're a big business now, and I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear your numbers early in the conversation. I must admit, I was surprised at how much the business had grown when we sort of reconnected at the beginning of the year. Just shy of 700 sales, 4,500 managements. That's a big business anywhere in Australasia. You've got an interesting kind of model or approach that you've changed and pivoted in the last couple of months with respect to sales management or sales leadership, and geographically going around all your offices. So to give everyone an idea first, before we talk about sales management, how far away is your furthest office?
Yeah, so from Laurelton to say Evans Head would be probably a 5-hour drive. So we've got three offices in the, huge, yeah.
So how's that impacted and what have you changed with respect to sales management in the last couple of months?
Well, COVID's helped with that, hasn't it? I mean, Zoom's a great best friend. And, I remember not long ago getting on a plane and going to Melbourne to go and see a piece of software or a bit of technology. Like, it's crazy when you think about it now. So Zoom certainly helped. We do a commitment email every week. For ages that I got my team to actually do it, and they never did it. And I had another trainer say to me, well, why don't you do it? So every Sunday night, by 8 o'clock at night, I'm doing my commitment email, which covers all different aspects. So even my personals first, then other business interests, my own business interests, might be a renovation around the house or whatever's going on. And then I'll send that to the team, and then the sales team do that first. And then on a Friday, they'll have to actually say what they've done for the week. So the commitment email is huge. And we've also hired a sales mentor in the business. And then we've also got another guy from Sydney that's just come up that's doing a bit of coaching as well in the business. So there's a little bit of a middle management now that really helps me get around.
Because up until recently, you've been, running the sales team as well as the business and the CEO. Hopefully that's going to allow you a little bit more time now to get into some other things. So what's next?
Yeah, but I think on that, Kylie, it's amazing actually having a sales manager mentor in the business and actually seeing the time that they're giving the team. So it's been great now that actually having a sales mentor that can, I might do 10 or 20 minutes and I might do that often, but actually seeing the management team now spend an hour with the team, and then the development of the team has been fantastic and exciting. What's next? I stopped developing for a little bit and now I'm pretty active. I bought a few sites. We're in DA stage and a couple of them are about to start construction. And a land subdivision that's about to get underway. And I love hospitality businesses. I'm trying to buy a motel at the moment. So really back into property play as well.
And Dave, I think we've talked about your energy today, and it is electric. I feel it when I walk into the office. And how difficult is that now that you've had the growth and the scale you've had to find the balance between spending enough time with the team so you're present, and then being able to pull yourself out to continue to grow the business? How do you manage that?
I don't think we ever get it completely right, but I mean, you just got to love what you do. And I know that's corny and so on, but literally I love what I do. So to me, Sunday's not always the best day. Like going to work on a Monday is pretty exciting. So I worked with the same mentor for 16 years, and sure, it was hard and sure, it was a great journey, but we had fun. And I think one of the biggest things, let's work hard, but have a laugh. And I think one of the biggest things, from the front desk when I walk in, especially during these difficult times, is, at the moment, if I can make everyone laugh once a day, and just, usually I'm the middle person that we're laughing at. But I think just enjoy what you do. If you're not, then maybe look at doing something else.
Yeah, and I'm smiling because I'm laughing about things when I'm up in the office that happen, and that's it's
not always that.
It's certainly landing with me, that's for sure. Dave, you guys do holiday rentals as well. Obviously, the last couple of months haven't been much fun in that space. How have you got the team through that from a leadership perspective? We've
also changed software. It's been a nightmare. The holiday ladies are unbelievable, and I just feel for them, what they've gone through. I nearly can't even ask them how they're going, because we've had a change of software that hasn't gone well. We've got about 200 holiday homes that are pretty much empty. They've cancelled and booked and cancelled and booked and cancelled and booked. They've got upset owners. They've got upset holiday makers. It's a really traumatic part of our business, and I can see it on the girls, and they just work tirelessly, but it's so hard for the business. And I think just once again, just having full empathy for that team. Financially, it's huge too. But more so the wear and tear on that team and just trying to protect them has been really hard. But I think acknowledging it as a business owner is so important, to understand what they're going through. It's been full on, and but we're lucky, that we've got that one part of our business, but sales and PM's doing well. And I think from a business owner, I could get caught up on that loss of income, but you got to have a lot of gratitude in your life around the things that are working. And we did have a good 6 months when it was on. And I'm pretty sure November is going to be crazy onwards.
It's going to be huge, I think, when it opens up. Just back on the holidays and the team members that probably have taken the hit hardest from the last couple of months. It is really important, that wellbeing side of things and the support for your team. And you're incredible in that space. What are some of the things that you do within the business for wellbeing, and how has that changed your people's lives?
Yeah, I love watching all the IT companies. And I think what people miss with IT companies is that it's not that, they go from zero to be worth, $10 billion. It's like that they go from zero to 10,000 people in years. That's crazy. We're talking about, our growth, but it's so minute compared to those businesses. And when you look at them, it's really around culture. And I think it's having some trust with your team. So we've done a uniform change. So the lifestyle group, which is a little bit fun, a t-shirt and a jacket, which is comfortable, which I think is nice. We give them their birthdays off. On a Friday, they can bring the dog in. They get a charity day. Plus, we do heaps of coaching within the business. And at hard times, a lot of communication. As soon as something goes on, we're straight on a Zoom, talking to our team. If it's on the weekend, same thing. There was a case near Kempsey. Hayley was straight on the emails. We're straight on Zoom. So I think communication at times like this is paramount.
Yeah, I think that's something I've noticed, particularly with you and Hayley and the leadership team, is just that showing up, which is a great sign of leadership, right? Being present, that energy, but just the communication, I think that your team has given. You had the floods, then we've had COVID lockdown. So tell us about the floods, how the team got through that, because that was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, that was, we had the fires and then the floods, and then we've had COVID. When it happened, it was really traumatic. You can't just see out the back, but I'm lucky enough where I live, and you could just see the water coming up, and you could actually feel it in the town, the emotion that was in the town. So the first thing I did is individually, and that's, well, in this area, probably, about 80, they got a personalised text from me, which, it was like, hi, Bob, how's your family? Or, look, you should be okay, but how are your family? So it wasn't just like a group text, just so that the team knew that I was there 100% for the team. Secondly, the leadership team met up on a Sunday, and we actually came up with a full strategy on the Sunday. So when we came in on Monday, everyone knew what was going on. Of course, we had COVID, so we'll set up with phones and all those sorts of things. We made sure we communicated with our team. But forget about our business. When you're in a small town, and I didn't grow up here, you just see how the town pulls together. The community spirit is so inspirational. A lot of our team took the week off and worked down at Camden Haven and helped the team. So I gave everyone time off, which wasn't annual leave, if they wanted to go and help. But saying that, I also said, you've also got your clients that were going through a hard time. So what I tried to match and say, look, I've got no problem with you being charitable, but you also have got a real big commitment to your clients. And it was a scary time for our clients as well. So I made sure that they were down helping, they're at least checking in on their phone 4 times a day.
And I know that client experience is becoming a big part of your business. And I know you, and I know you want to do a lot more in that space. But I think that connectivity with your clients was something I really noticed. So you were doing it from an internal point of view. And I always talk about the internal customer being your team, was exceptional. And I think that connectivity with your client is going to reap benefits over the next couple of months coming out of November. November, you're going to have, I think, a really busy month and leading into Christmas. But what are you seeing with migration, with sales? Where are your buyers coming to and from? How's that driving market forces for you?
Sydney. Yeah, like over 60% of our inquiry. But also not just from people that have grown up in Sydney. We're getting a lot of families moving back. So when you talk about a pressure on our business, our rent roll's under attack. There's so many owners moving back. So it's put, we're in negative growth at the moment. So that's a scary part of the business. Sure, like any business, there's a little bit of mismanagement there, but the real force is obviously investors aren't buying. And we're also seeing so many people move back to the coast.
So never been a better time, right, guys, listening to this. This is a problem we're seeing in every marketplace, and particularly with people taking advantage of the growth in market prices, is to actually be connecting and having great conversations with your client about how much their asset has actually increased in value and how they want to expand their property portfolio. So you're replacing the leakage that's going out of the back end.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get on the phone. I'm not a selling principal. So if you look at the model, if you're a selling principal and you're selling your management, it's a pretty good payday. But if you give 20% referral back to your team and then you're selling, it's not a great payday. So I'd much rather the management stay there other than going back through the business. So I get on the phone a lot, and a lot of businesses, they've just seen a bit of growth and they've got excited. And I sit down and say, well, you've got to park that money out somewhere. You've got to pay stamp duty again one day, possibly you've got to pay tax. So we've got a finance business at the moment. So I'm talking to a lot of clients about wealth creation and just seeing if selling is the right decision for them as well. And then flipping it around and then see if I can actually get them to buy something instead, which has been working.
Yeah. And you've got some other revenue streams like that in your business as well, Dave. Do you want to talk about how you're sustaining the business and growing revenue with the other areas in the business you're focusing on?
Yeah, so we've built a really solid management team at the moment. Obviously, that's a cost center. So the way I'm looking at that management team is capable of running multiple businesses or start really building from that. So we've just started Ideal Financial. We've got Ideal Smoke Alarms. There's other little businesses that we're looking at the moment. And then they pay a management fee back towards that management fee. And my goal is to have sort of 8 or 10 of those businesses running and basically having the management team being paid for outside the actual real estate business to take that pressure off the cash flow.
Yeah, incredibly important. And I think, knowing your numbers, you guys have moved to a centralized database as well in the last sort of 6 to 7 months. Have you seen any impact from that yet, or any changes as a result of that?
Yeah, because of the Northern Rivers office, we're only at about 70% of our business. So it's really exciting to see the data coming from nearly a centralized database system. But I said to one of the girls, it looks great, but it's only 70% of the business. So, you can't really spend any time on it at the moment. By 1st of December, we'll be 100% right through. And yeah, it'll completely change our business. Like, we're running multiple different trust accounts. So our biggest weakness is around our numbers and knowing our numbers. Hayley can do it, but it can nearly take half a day by the time that, you were going and printing off different reports from different databases. So to have just one push of a button will completely change our business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, we've covered so much today, and we do try and keep these impact and influence discussions pretty short and sharp. Could talk to you for another hour about what you've done in the business, so we'll have to circle back in on that. But I just want you to wrap up for us today, Dave, in the 5-6 years that you've had those businesses up there and grown the business, with respect to leadership, what's been your biggest learning, and is there anything you would do differently if you had to do it all over again?
I bought a business thinking I'd be the boss, but you're not. Yeah. Anyone that tells me they're about to start the business, I'm like, you are now the employee for the rest of your life. You actually go the other way. You're there to serve them. You're not the boss. And you have to do a lot of personal development work because you're getting looked at 1,000,000%. And everyone is watching you. And I think if you're not working on yourself and not growing, the person I am, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, is completely changing. And I think vulnerability is so important in your team. Like, everyone that knows me knows I'm a joker. I'm far from perfect, but my team know that. one of them, I think the nicest thing Hayley says is, well, but mate, you are who you are, and everyone knows that. So I think genuineness, being really transparent, being vulnerable with your team, and making sure you're working on yourself. And I've been looking at different growth patterns now, and we've been working on the leadership team and transferring leadership. But now I'm looking back and going, okay, those 100-odd people and names, like what can I do between now and Christmas to really connect with those people and make sure that they know that, you know, I'm not talking about friendship as such. Like, you don't have to be everyone's best friend, but I want them to know that they're building a better life, you know, with our business and and growing as people. And if you're not doing that work, and I think I look at so many mentors in real estate, and you look back to the same person 20 years ago, and I think it's really sad, you know, and I think we need to be constantly changing and growing. You know, otherwise your business doesn't evolve.
Absolutely. And your ability to change and pivot at speed and provide phenomenal customer experience externally and internally will fundamentally impact your ability to grow and retain people. And I think that's something you've been exceptional at, and really proud to sit back and see what's been happening in your business in the last 12 to 18 months in particular. What do we expect next from Dave Gray and the team?
The opposite of what we've been doing. So we've been growing like crazy. And I know it sounds nuts, but my goals are around not growing crazy and actually having a business that we're really proud of. I mean, we'd love working with you and just getting a business that, you know, other people, like, not from an ego point of view, but one of my drivers, and I've always joked, is about having a Josh Fegan proof business, you know, where Josh comes in, you've got it running at a level that he might expect, or, you know, yourself on that general management point of view, where, you know, get to a point where I know you're saying to people, hey, look, this is what we've implemented with Dave, like go up and see what they've done. So we want a business, not just from a Port Macquarie or not from an ego point of view, but a business that people can learn off and give back to the industry. I mean, property's been so good to me, you know, personally and financially. If I can give back through that, I didn't go to university. So I say this journey that I'm going through real estate is like my MBA. Like this is my university degree in real life.
It's almost like your legacy. And I think you are definitely there, Dave. I think if anyone is in Port Macquarie or you want to do some business development, Dave will make the time for you. I'll tell you that. It is a business that's worth seeing, and you've done an exceptional job. And that leadership, I think people will follow you just out of curiosity, Dave, because no day is ever the same. And it's always an adventure. But kudos to the team, 4,500 managements and almost 700 sales. Look out 2022.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Dave, for your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Cheers.
Bye.